I will now create the notebook. I take the lines, this is fine, and I go to create. And I would now, because some of you mentioned this, I would like to write in blue. Actually, blue is anyway a standard color for students with ball pens in many cases, or fountain pens, rather than black. So let's start in blue, and you can see how the lines behave. Because they start in blue, they start in black, then the blue, or the real color that you have selected, is somehow a little bit behind, delayed. And then after you stop the line, it's refreshed. So it looks like that. And then it refreshes. Why this refresh is actually necessary, I don't really know, because one of the main points to have in mind is, actually you see this already here. If I draw this line, from my perspective, this is already blue. Maybe you can't see it. Why does it refresh? Let's maybe go to this light red, because then you can see it. This, you see, it is delayed. Yeah, it is delayed. And still now it fully refreshes. Honestly, I cannot answer this, why this is going to happen and why this is obviously necessary from a technical perspective. It is as it is. But it shows you how this behaves. Now, if you use now red as a color for, let's say, the headline, depending on how you feel about it, it could be annoying or it could be okay for you. So I will now write general, and you see how this behaves. General topics, comparison. Okay. Now I take the marker, which is usually set to yellow, because I like to have a little bit of this, header separation. Okay. Let's go back. And I'm now going to write in blue, because still in blue you have this effect. So we talk about the reMarkable Paper Pro, and you see this refresh. Okay. Here we have 2160 times 1620 pixels, and this is, this is the wrong sign. Yeah, that's better. Okay, because otherwise somebody says, no, this is not mathematically correct. This is 229 ppi, and we talk about 11.8 inch. Then we talk about the reMarkable the reMarkable. No, why does the undo not work? Okay, reMarkable 2. And here we talk about 1872 times 1404, and we have 226 ppi on a screen of 10.3 inch. For comparison, the iPad Pro, my model at least, got 2752 times 2064, which is 264 ppi, as this is on a 13-inch screen. Now you see here also that the difference between these two is, if I'm not mistaken, this is 1.2 inch, the delta, okay? Which is a little bit, I would say, above 2.5 centimeters in normal SE measures, okay? So that is approximately maybe the add-on of the bottom bezel here, and you could somehow say that this is then corresponding to the iPad screen. So if you want to compare this, you still see this is a decent screen size. Many people were reading documents and annotating documents on the iPad screen, so you are not so far away. And actually you are not, if you compare this here, also, you are not so far away from these two you know, from the actual resolution as well. So that is for me the first comparison I wanted to show you. The second one, now let's go into, again, I take now black, the color black, because then you see that this is different. The color black immediately appears on the screen. It seems to be optimized for this particular color, of course. Now, what we find here is, I would say, for the reMarkable Paper Pro, we have some major points to take into account, and for me that's size, that's color, and that's no Android. For the better or worse, this is simply how it is. What we have also to take into account is some sort of refresh. Sorry, I should not write this in, yeah. And some sort of lag. Depending on the documents and again, what color you use, etc., this could be a little bit annoying. This is what I would say are some noticeable points. I intentionally do not say, yes, it's a pro, it's a con. It's up to you to decide this, but I think it makes sense to note these points. For the reMarkable Paper 2, we have the bright background. We have again no Android. Again, this is a decision intentional by reMarkable in, you know, taking into account this distraction-free approach. You can criticize it, but it's simply as it is. And then we have the Books Go, because I compare this mainly to the Books Go 10.3, where you have, again, for the better or worse, you have Android, you have high contrast, a little bit less, a little bit darker background than on the reMarkable. So I just mentioned the high contrast because there's the font, the black text is very, very dark. And you have sharpness, let's call it sharpness of the screen, sharpness, yeah? And that's something which you could actually summarize and you know, note for your considerations. And then this is a pro-con, essentially maybe a pro-con list, and we can, yeah, close this comparison because there are so many subjective points in this that you obviously need to make your own decision. Sorry, for some reason I did not note this one here as well. Oh, this is interesting. And now because of that I did the undo gesture. You know, if we tap with 2 fingers, then this is a undo, and this makes a lot of sense. Now, I show you here, also the synchronization. Now this document appears here as well, as you have seen on the reMarkable 2, which is very handy. Of course, if I open it here, sometimes the screen is, maybe I'm not pressing enough, then you see it, of course, in black and white. We already had this with the, you know, it's now obviously in exactly the same size as on this tablet. I think this is saved, and reMarkable knows, okay, this was in this level of magnification. For this device, it's a little bit too big, so it's slightly truncated. You can shrink it, of course, but it's interesting to see how reMarkable has implemented this feature. Good. Now, this one here is an interesting. Actually, that's very simple. What this is, if you are into photography, you know, this is the triangle where aperture, shutter speed, and ISO level of the camera settings influence each other. And essentially, for every photographer, this is how to set up the correct lighting settings for each of the pictures he or she takes. Now, this is in color. This is black and white. Main information here for you is that this is a JPEG, or it was a JPEG on my computer. and I try to upload this onto the reMarkable. And what you see here is it has arrived as a PDF, so it is now a PDF, and it only works via the web interface. So if you try this on the desktop app or also on the Android/iOS app, it would not upload correctly. It gives you an error message. So you can upload also picture files, but on the web interface only, and it converts into PDF. I think this is also interesting to note. Oh, come on. One more interesting thing to show you is the synchronization. Well, this is not the correct wording. The integration of cloud drives. And here I have set up my connection to Dropbox, to Google Drive, and to OneDrive. And I'm now showing you how this works with Google Drive, because this is what I mainly use. Now, I've got some slides here. Let's, I don't know. No, let's not do this. Let's go for, maybe this, I think this is a white paper. Now you cannot open it directly. You have to highlight it, and then you can say import. And what now happens is, if you go back to my files, and my files in the main folder, then it's here imported. I've done this, by the way, already twice. And now you can open it, and you will see, and sorry, this is now a landscape file, so the orientation will be automatically recognized, and you can then scroll through this document. Actually, that's a PDF exported from a PowerPoint, because this device cannot open PowerPoint slides. If you want to annotate this file, you can, and then you can re-upload to the cloud. You see, you can tap here on export, and then say back to Google Drive, Dropbox, OneDrive. So you can even copy files between clouds if you have them set up and you want to use this device as a copying machine. May not be the first use case for the reMarkable tablets, but it's possible that you download a file from OneDrive and then upload it to Google Drive or to Dropbox. This is how the workflow of external integration works. So if you ask, is there any synchronization between cloud drives? No, this is not a real synchronization. It's a manual process. You can download individual files, you can work on them, and then you can re-upload them in any, or also the different locations than before, in one of those three cloud drive options. Again, OneDrive, Google Drive, and Dropbox. That's all you can do. Here is one sample I wanted to show you as well, and I think this is interesting because that's a document that I've created using one of the Chrome extensions. And there are two Chrome extensions for this device. One is the official Chrome extension, and one is an unofficial third-party Chrome extension, but this one has much more features. In the normal Chrome extension, you can just define if you want to use, you want to essentially to download the page locally on your computer. I think that's not the main use case for an extension developed by reMarkable, or you synchronize it directly to the reMarkable sync cloud, and then it appears on your tablet. And this is what I've done here. This is my main setting. It gives you the header with the URL, the title, and then the text only, no images. So it's really perfect for reading. You see, it's quite a lot of pages. Now I will show you something else, because this is saved as an EPub, as an ebook, which means I can change the settings of the fonts, the font size, the justification, left or justified, full justified. I can also change the margins, page border margins, and I can change line spacing. I can also select certain fonts. I think the EB Geromond is the standard phase here. You can Noto sans or serif fonts, Noto and a mono, so non-proportional font as well. Please note that by default, the reMarkable tablet uses a serif font, which is a according to standard psychological studies, that this is the best for readability. Non-serif fonts are looking much more modern in certain from a certain perspective, but readability has been shown and proven to be best with these serif fonts, and this is obviously why reMarkable is using this. Now let's go back, and what I'm showing you now is a little bit of irritation for me, and I think it's one of the reasons why the Kindle Scribe has implemented a special feature for annotation or for notes, where essentially there's a little pop-up on the screen, because then it reflows with a different setting. I show you now what happens when let's see which color, yellow anyway, which is the standard, and let's select this text and this one. What is really handy is that you can use this snap to text, and it have always straightforward and very horizontal, aligned, proper markings, and not something like this. Yeah, of course there is no text to align, so this is why it stays. But for me, this is a very, very good implementation and makes a lot of sense, and I use this feature extensively. Now let's go to the EPub settings. Sorry, this was the wrong one. I have to go to the text settings here, and this is a little bit too large for me on the reMarkable Paper Pro, so I would like to set it to smaller, and I don't want to have it fully justified, and I'm also making sure that it's this EB German font. I do save, and you see what happens. And that's not really a very thoughtful implementation, because here now the highlighting of "they are real" stays in the position of the page. So obviously what reMarkable does is these highlightings are aligned on the line where you are drawing the highlighting with the pen, and then somehow saved as a block with coordinates on the page, but it does not recalculate and reflow once you change the text settings, especially the size and maybe also the alignment. Please note that this is a major issue. It is something that I think could be fixed, because you know where this highlighting starts, and you could link it to the first letter and then recalculate. It's a little bit more complex to do this calculation, but it should be possible. That is more or less useless. Learning from my side, if I want to change the text setting, I do this always before I annotate any document. So if I want to annotate this document, and I'd say, okay, this text size is not right for me, I want to change it, then I do it before anything else. Otherwise, I have, I don't know how this should be called. These are orphaned highlightings. Yeah, highlighting floating in the middle of nowhere and having no visible connection anymore to the text which they should actually highlight. Does not make a lot of sense, right? Okay, this is something to consider. And then also I would like to show you the outcome of the third-party community extension, which is this one. And in this document, you can set a lot of settings. I actually removed the URL header, because this looks much nicer, and some URLs, as you know, are extremely long and not nice to read. You have the title, you have the featured image, and then the text starts. I already set the correct sizing of the text, and I said please include all photos. Sometimes the pictures are, as you know, for illustration only, but in many of technical documents there are diagrams, there are scientific illustrations which you would like to keep, and then this makes a lot of sense. By the way, there is even a feature to remove duplicate images, and this sometimes happens if the featured image and the first image of the publication is the same. As you can see, if you want to include the pictures, and then you can use this plugin. Still, it is fine to read, especially if you can set the right font size right from the beginning. You would not have this reflow issue. So I keep both of these extensions because the pure text one also has its merits in certain cases where there's a lot of unnecessary illustrations or maybe advertising photos in an article which I want to remove. But in some cases, this makes a lot of sense. Good. Then I have been asked by one user about contrast and in particular for music scores. And I understand the point because there are just, I think there are just two available good ePaper tablets for music scores. One is actually using Onyx and offering this as a dual tablet setup. And there is one, I am not sure which company it is. I think it's from Japan, and this offers a foldable dual screen e-ink screen device. But apart from that, you actually have to work with the existing e-ink tablets. Now, this is a larger one, so it makes sense to think about if this is the right potential tablet for musicians. And I have downloaded here one of the classics, as you all know, für Elise by Ludwig van Beethoven. And you see here the quality of the score. Here on the reMarkable 2, there are no settings which you can influence. You can just scroll and it's fine. It's also fast. Here you can also scroll and it's actually, in this case, it's even faster than on the reMarkable 1. So yes, there seems to be an effect of the CPU in this one. And actually, because there were a lot of discussions regarding the quality and crispness of the text, honestly, I love the presentation here. It is slightly darker, and this is correct, but it's fantastic to read. Now let's go into this contrast filter and set it to on. And you see the contrast is really perfect. It is absolutely dark, and it's slightly, I would say the contrast is a little bit better than on the reMarkable 2. And it's of course larger, so you may have a better time playing your instrument and having this in front of you because the size makes a real difference. Now, if we close this again, I can also show you a page of a CV. And here you see how the text looks like on the reMarkable 2. And here you see how the text looks like on the reMarkable Paper Pro. And now let's go for the settings and adjust the contrast filter. Here it is off. And now I'm going to set it to on. And as far as I hope that you can see it on the video, but I think yes, you can. It is definitely a higher text contrast and increases readability with respect to the non-contrast filter setting. For me, the contrast is now on par with the reMarkable 2, having still the different shading or slightly more grayish color here on the Paper Pro, but still I think this is now a wonderfully readable text. Okay, of course it's subjective again, but I would in any case be happy with this as a document reader. Let's open another document which is interesting, and this is this PDF here. Yeah, this is a 500 megabyte PDF file. It seems not to be highly optimized because because it contains a lot of pictures and obviously in quite high resolution. So you would see that this also takes some time to load, but it's definitely faster. I have to jump to the, let's go here to the first page, and you see actually that here it loads really fast. So honestly, this is also a next learning apart from reflow with EPubs. these devices, especially the reMarkable Paper Pro, is best suited for PDF reading. EPubs are maybe better on smaller devices because they reflow anyway, even on the Books Palma, on the Onyx Books Go 10.3, because here is because of the color and the complete rendering process, this may take quite a long time. Let's also see about the settings here, and I do the contrast setting. I set this to off because then the picture quality is better and it does not really affect the text a lot. So let's go now here, weather and climate, and here you see already that there is a significant advantage of having the text in color. I have heard or I've read a couple of comments, well, if you want to read a book, the color is not really so important. It depends. If you read a novel, if you read a book which is text heavy, then yes. But my books are, a lot of them are scientific. They have a lot of pictures and illustrations and graphics. And then the color is a crucial part of information delivery. So it makes a significant difference. Here you see, for example, I mean, the photo is much nicer, okay, but you also see the highlighted text passages, and that is something you wouldn't even realize on the left side. Yeah. So there is also information lost here because of the lack of color. Still, I can read it fine, but honestly, I think even in the low contrast mode, I have here an absolutely decent font quality. I have a perfect picture quality, and I would be absolutely happy to read this book on this device. I would be also reading it on this device, but some information is definitely lost. Now, let's jump to the first real page with content. Yeah, even that is something. Okay, here it reMarkable to also had a little bit to think. This is in-book advertising. Nice. Okay, yes, I understand that, but I'm not interested. Okay, part 1. Energy and mass. So obviously that's an introduction about the basics of physics. And here you see that the grayscale does definitely lose a little bit of information. And here you have on the right side really fantastic quality. And I would even say that the text is crisp and fine, and I hope you see this in the video as well, because I've now made sure that the focusing is on point, and because it's 4K, you should be able to zoom this in and see it in the highest possible quality that YouTube can deliver. Yeah. Also, this gives you a little bit of visual impression how fast the scrolling actually is. By the way, here again, this highlighted text, did you know it flashes much more in yellow than it does here in gray? So again, if reading scientific books, university books, textbooks, for me, this is a no-brainer that this delivers much richer experience and information than you have in the grayscale version. Okay, that's it for this particular video. I wanted to give you an overview of the most important topics that I've found as well, and that have been partially mentioned in questions in your comments, that have been also raised in some other videos as far as I found, or discussed in subreddits. And I hope that this gives you some of the answers that you were looking for. I hope you found this information useful. Also the live demonstrations, again, in the comparison between the reMarkable Paper Pro and the reMarkable 2. Many thanks for your interest in my videos. Stay tuned for the next updates. Please like and subscribe, and see you next time. Bye.